Hey, y'all, my name's Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads podcast. Brand new episode, but we've already seen this guy before.
That's right. We had our first repeat guest.
Yeah.
Skyler Henson.
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we had him on the first time, a little bit pre-dad before he officially became a dad, and now he has a 6-month-old.
Made him come back. We've kind of planned on doing that a little bit. It's like, hey, tell us all your plans. Now let's go back to him and see how it's going.
Yeah. Do these hold true or not?
Yeah.
Some did, some didn't, but he's rocking it as a dad.
Yes,
and,
that's kind of the takeaway from this one. Is he's kicking butt.
We were joking about that, but we are kind of jealous of how well he's doing.
Yeah, he's adjusted way better than we did at 6 months old. I know that much. I think this is going to be a fun one. The dad jokes were not bad. And
pretty solid.
The dad advice was pretty good this time around. So,
yeah, simple, but really useful.
Yeah, useful. It's a good way to say that. So I think we, without further ado, we jump right into this thing.
Let's do it.
All right, Decent Dads podcast. Here we go. Welcome back to the Decent Dads podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of three, and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Dude, try not to cry over here. Together?
What an introduction.
I think that's the first time I've made a mistake during the intro and I didn't just immediately stop.
I was waiting for you to stop. You didn't. And then I could
build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together.
Yeah.
You know what? We're leaving it in.
That's right.
We'll do it live.
That's right. One take. That's our second take. It's fine. No, I am doing fantastic.
Oh, man, I needed this. I'm glad you guys are here.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun.
It's a great day for a great day.
It's a good day.
Yeah, Bryant right over here to my right with those kind of comments. But and the Chiefs won today, 2-0.
Go Chefs.
Big day.
Pretty pumped about that. And then we got a fabulous guest on, which we'll get to here in just a second.
Yeah,
and
will.
we have some awesome hoppy coffee.
Yes, we do.
Who can we thank for that?
Yeah, these coffees are brought to you by our friends at Buff Studio, the official coffee sponsor of the Decent Dads podcast. Buff Studio is a full-service architecture, engineering, and design firm with offices in Bentonville, Arkansas, and Springfield, Missouri. Learn more at buffstudio.co. Thank you, Buff Studio, for your support of the podcast and Decent Dads everywhere. Buff Studio, be a Buffalo. Cheers.
Buff Studio, thanks
Buff.
Partnering together with us.
Together with us. You suck.
I'm sorry, man. I'll stop.
No, keep it coming. This is fun.
Oh man, but yeah, we have a Decent Dads first on here. We have a repeat guest.
Bringing them back.
Our first repeat guest. We had Skyler on at the beginning of season 2. I guess technically before you became a dad.
Yep.
Yes.
Before your kid was
A couple months,
here.
I think.
Yeah. And this was, I'm so excited for this because we were like, okay, we got to bring him back after he has the kid. We got to see how it's going.
Yeah. So 6 months later, we got him back on. I did watch that episode this morning as well, so I could refresh on that and hear about all of your expectations and how fatherhood was really going to go before.
Were those plans best laid or actually fulfilled?
Well, yet to be determined. We'll find out. But Skyler, last time we talked to you, your wife was very pissed at you because she was 8 months pregnant at that time, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully that's not the case. So if you will tell us, again, a little bit about yourself, give us your dad resume now that you can do that.
Now that you can actually do it.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, yeah, go ahead, Skyler.
Yeah, I'm Skyler Henson. I'm a commercial loan officer at Mid-Missouri Bank. Me and my wife, Alex, had our first child, Jasper, a little over 6 months ago. 6 months and a couple weeks. Yeah. Nice. So it's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah, good.
It's been fun, though.
Good, man. We're so glad you're back. I mean, truly, I was... Yeah, Alex, your wife has been a longtime friend of mine, and we've been friends for several years now. So excited when you guys announced it, and I'm happy to talk about this. I cannot wait. What do we do first year? I guess we probably do...
Tantrum, man.
Tantrums. Yeah. That's right. It's been a minute since we recorded an episode. So last we spoke, you didn't have any tantrums for the kid, but you brought a dad tantrum.
Oh, I remember that. Boom, triggered.
Have
all
you
coming
had
back
any
to
kid? Have you had any kid tantrums, or is it still your problem?
Oh man. I would say I haven't had any tantrums.
Attaboy. That you were going to tell us about.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, good. That's a good point.
Those to myself.
No, I don't. To be honest, I would say he's been a pretty good baby. The only tantrum we really get is we started, when we tried solids and stuff, we started making his food. You'll do apples and make our own applesauce and their own pear concoction and whatever else. But
Is that like, are you grinding that up in a blender, or like, what's that look like?
So Alex handles that kind of.
Heard.
Yeah,
Okay.
She's done really good, but we try to do whole foods, not really any additives or anything,
Sure. Okay.
but good, clean stuff. And
Sorry, didn't mean to derail you. I was just curious.
No, so that was a thing for us. I think that we really wanted to make sure the nutritional side of stuff. After you wean off breast milk, we're still obviously doing the milk stuff, but after you want them to eat well, right? And just same for us. So we kind of made his own stuff and got him several different recipes and stuff, and you put it in front of him and he just goes crazy. Like it's really weird.
Loves it.
Way into it.
Yeah.
Really
Good.
loves it.
Awesome. That's great.
So with that being said, when you're done with said food, he goes crazy.
Oh.
And I mean,
Does once more.
Once more. Got it. And we'll eat until
Got a little tank, huh?
Yeah, we'll eat until you stop feeding him, basically, or until he's sick.
Yeah.
We've been there
everybody's
before.
problem.
We've been there, so. But it's a lot of fun. It's crazy to see just him, how excited he gets for food.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and 6 months old, he doesn't have too much of the if there is a tantrum, it's still one of about 3 things.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Like change my diaper, put me to bed, or feed me.
Right.
And those are kind of the only things at this point that I would assume you have to worry about at this point.
Yeah.
And get used to the food thing, man. With boys, dude, they're just
Bottomless
nonstop,
pits.
man. Like, we'll eat dinner, and the boys will clean their plates at dinner, and 20 minutes later, can we get a snack? And Liam comes back with 2 handfuls of these granola bar things, wanting to eat all these, and it's dude. And then, again, it's only the beginning.
It's just so crazy. 'Cause,
so funny.
he's I would say small for his age. I mean, I think he's in the 3rd percentile. So really on weight wise.
Sure.
But to see him eat that much and stuff, you're just where is this stuff going?
Right.
You are not this big.
Same.
Doctor, I promise we're feeding the kid. I don't know how to shit small.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too, and I don't know if this is a girl thing or just an Elsie thing, but the food at our house is hit and miss.
Oh, really?
Liv she made salmon, she made rice, she made carrots, and she made edamame. And those are all things that Elsie likes. And Elsie ate 3 bites of salmon, 2 bites of rice, and 2 or 3 handfuls of edamame, and wouldn't touch the carrots. And so, dude, these are all the foods that you love. What are we doing right now?
Right.
And it's just, nope, I don't want it. and didn't say a thing about food for the rest of the night. Which
Oh,
just
really?
fine. Yeah, just
Wow.
fine. No big deal.
Oh.
Makes no freaking sense. What
That
about
must
you?
That must be a girl thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
weird. Because I also got to finish her plate. That's
Yeah.
probably why I look like I do.
You'll find out soon enough.
That's right. So mine, a little bit of a dad tantrum, a little bit of a Liam tantrum, a little bit of a learning moment too.
Nice.
For me. So kind of a lot going on there. But Liam lied to us for the first time a couple weeks ago. And
buddy.
So, it was a really small deal, right? So he found some chalk outside, brought it inside, just did a couple little marks on the coffee table, on our wooden coffee table, right? And we didn't notice it at first. And then we did, and we asked him, we're like, Liam, did you draw on the coffee table? He's like, no. And he still has the chalk in his hand when he says no. And it's dude, come on. And I'm like, dude, you just lied to us. You got to go to timeout. And so put him in timeout, and he throws a little fit while he's in timeout and whatnot. Next day, he does something else, lies about it as well, too. And I'm like, dude. And I'm getting kind of pissed off at this time, right? Because it's 2 days in a row, right? And I'm like, you lied again. I'm like, dude, go back to timeout, right? Next day, literally all these 3 days in a row. We got out of the shower. I told him to go put his clothes on. So he goes, does it. And then He came to me and I was like, did you put your underwear on? Because that's his big thing now. He just wants to wear just shorts, no underwear.
Because I'm free.
Right. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, show me. And so like he pulls down his shorts a little bit and you can tell there's no underwear on. And I'm like, Liam, I'm like, dude, you lied again. And you could tell as soon as that word came out of my mouth, like he was like, oh crap, I'm going to get in trouble. Like he's starting to get tears and stuff. And I'm like, man, I was like, you're going to have to go to timeout because you lied again. And then it, like, for whatever reason, that second time I said it, it really clicked to me. I'm like, does he even know what lying really means? Right?
Good thought.
And so like,
Good thought,
I
Dad.
paused and I was like, Liam, I was like, do you know what lying means? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, then I feel
Shit.
like
Yeah.
a dick.
You just punished him.
Right? And he doesn't even know why he's getting punished. And I'm like, well, lying is whenever you don't tell the truth. And he immediately asked me, he's like, well, what's the truth mean? And I'm like, oh, crap. I feel like really bad, right? And so then I'm like, man, these are really simple concepts for adults. And I'm like, how do I break this down to a little 4-year-old, right? And so like
How'd you do it?
Well, so I told him.
Because I'm sitting here thinking like, oh God,
Right?
I don't know.
It's like I
do you tell
legit,
him?
I had to pause for a second. I'm like, okay, yeah, how am I going to do this? And so I told him, I was like, all right. I was like, a lie is whenever you basically say something that didn't happen. Like, for example, like whenever I ask you if you had any underwear on, the truth would have been no. You should have said no, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, but you lied and said you did have underwear on. And since you said that and you didn't have your underwear on, I was like, that was a lie.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. So you can kind of tell his little mind's working. And then he's like, poor little dude. He's like, so do I still have to go to timeout? And I'm like, buddy, no, because I was like, you didn't know what it meant. I was like, you're not in trouble. And I was like, we'll move on from this. And haven't had an issue with him lying since.
Good learning moment.
And
Dad.
so I think
That's
like
good.
before like you punish your kids, you should really like think like, do they really know why they're getting punished, right? Because yeah, I still feel bad about that.
Yeah, solid. I totally get that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It was rough. So, but what about you?
So ours was kind of the anti-tantrum. Elsie went to her first football tailgate this weekend.
Okay.
That's actually why I'm wearing my Bears hat today, because we took her to the Bears game yesterday. And went to a tailgate, had tickets to the game, but we were helping with the Chambers. The Chamber was hosting a tailgate for the network with another local bank. We were trying to get in front of some of the young professionals that might be there, some of the college students as well, introduce them to the business community in Springfield. Elsie and Liv came along too, and so we were hanging out, having hot dogs and hamburgers and whatever. And the problem was we got there 3 hours ahead of game time.
Oh, dang.
Because that's when we were supposed to be there for
Right.
That's when the best
network.
tailgating goes on.
But like that's college dude tailgating 3 hours ahead of time is perfect.
My 3-year-old.
3-year-old, not so much the same. So Liv and I were really proud of her. She was having so much fun. She had her little cheerleading outfit on. It was the cutest thing in the world. And she was doing great. She was saying hi to people and, giving high fives and being Elsie. Exactly. But then you could tell she was starting to, they're showing signs of, you better get me the hell out of here or I'm going to make it everybody's problem.
Hitting the wall, Dad. I'm hitting the wall.
At one point she started screaming about, I've got a Ouija. Which is her way of saying wedgie. I got a Ouija, and she's like trying to pick her.
She's about to conjure up something.
It's a Ouija board, right? Yeah. So she's like trying to pick her wedgie, and I got a Ouija.
Oh, that's funny.
And then you can tell Elsie's starting to get tired when she starts leaning on things. And so like I look over and she's on a table. Exactly. It's exactly what it was. It was like Elsie was shit-housed and was leaning on the table going, somebody better take me home now. And so Liv and I made eye contact and I was like, all right, well, obviously Elsie's not going to the game. Liv, if you want to take her home, I'll finish up the tailgate and I might go into the game if you don't mind. And so Liv and Elsie went home. I went into the first half of the game and then got a ride home from old Uncle Hubert, old Uber. And
Nice.
got home just in time to see Elsie go to bed. But it was kind of the anti-tantrum. I was really proud of her right up until the end. And then it was basically our fault for leaving her there that long. So
Like we all know whenever they
Oh, right.
are
Well,
about tapped out.
and as long as you spend so much time with them, you can see all those little tells.
Yeah.
And hers was leaning on stuff. It's like, get this kid out of here quick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the nice thing too. Like the longer you're a parent, you can see those cues, and you can even tell like before you even go to that event. You're like,
Oh yeah, 3 hours is too long.
It's going to be a good day, or it's going to be a bad day, right? I mean,
It's basically depending on the car ride there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean for real. But yeah, Skyler, as you know, the next thing we always ask everybody is dad hack.
Dad hack alert!
Your dad advice. So what's some good dad advice or a good dad hack you have for us?
Ooh, that's good. So I think for me, one thing that I found that really kind of works for us is like whenever he's throwing a fit or, when things are getting tough in the house, like whether he's hungry or, you're getting ready to feed him or whatever else, if he's whining, take him outside. Like that's been such a good thing for us.
Yes.
It's like, it changes him immediately. The second that sliding door opens and you step into the outside, he's a total different person. Like he doesn't scream, doesn't cry out there. It's really strange. Like, some power of outdoors, I guess. I don't know, trees or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I cannot believe I hadn't brought that up, but we did that with Elsie constantly, particularly when she was a little girl. Like when we first moved into this house, it was not like freezing cold winter, but like it was not 75 degrees outside either, but just take her outside, a little bit of cool air, a little bit of a change of scenery, and it was just enough to snap her out of whatever was bugging her. Great call. That's awesome.
It's been really a
good idea.
Crazy trick. Really.
Good for you.
I did that with Lily this weekend too. Whenever she was kind of losing it, took her out there later on the sectional out there, and she was as happy as could be, and then passed out and slept outside for an hour.
Perfect.
Perfect. This is great.
Were you in the porch or out on the deck?
No, like out on the deck.
I love it.
Yeah,
Atta girl.
She just loved it.
She's gonna be the chillest kid there ever was.
She has to be. She has to be. My hack, I guess, would be force your kids to clean up after themselves.
That's funny. Mine's along these same
lines. Not like physically restrain them.
But, you will do this.
But so like we was talking about routines earlier, and our kind of what starts our bedtime routine is we put on a movie the last hour and a half of the night to get the boys to kind of wind down. And so like the boys really look forward to this, and we tell them, or now anyways, we're like, well, this bomb of toys went off in our house. You guys got to pick up all these toys, right, before we can turn on the movie.
Or no movie time.
And the first few times we did that, it was a struggle. Mm-hmm. It was hard. But now, like they're just like, all right, like that's just what we do, right? So it's like instilling those habits in them to where it's it's a habit. It's not like forcing them to do something. And two, it's it's other stuff like that too. Cleaning up after themselves whenever they eat dinner and stuff. And again, it's just now it's kind of automatic. And so, trying to think of other good ones kind of like that we can slowly implement as well too. But that's worked well for us.
Building good habits, right? Like it's just and dangling that carrot of the movie at the end of the day, 100%. And that's perfect.
Or two, it's like before we do something fun, like go to the zoo or go to the Discovery Center, guys, we got to pick up our toys.
I'd be lying if I hadn't used your kids as a carrot to dangle in front of Elsie several times. If you want to go see Lemon Brody and Lily, you're going to have to be
Lemon
a good
Brody.
girl. Lemon Brody. Yeah. She now has a baby doll named Lily.
Oh,
by
really?
The way. Like there is a Lily doll that lives in my basement.
I love it.
She's under a blanket in there right now. Mine. So actually, funnily enough, we were talking about putting stuff away or cleaning up and stuff. We are moving the playroom from what would be the dining room upstairs to the basement.
Oh, okay.
She can navigate the stairs now. It's a little safer. She's not going to end up in a pile at the bottom of the stairs. But involve your kiddos in the moving of their stuff, because Elsie absolutely loved moving the playroom. Was just having a freaking blast. Getting to pick, well, we should put the kitchen over there, and we should put my blocks under that, and oh man, what if we did? And she was just having a freaking blast moving stuff around.
That's
and then all my toys are here, oh my gosh, look at this. And she was flitting around and just having so much fun, and was actually kind of being a help. Like, you carry the basketballs down the stairs while I carry the little Fisher-Price goal down the stairs, and like was way more cooperative. And again, it goes right back to involve your kids in the everyday stuff,
Right.
the day-to-day stuff, because it just makes life easier. So because they recognize that everything doesn't revolve around them. It's just life happens and we're going to do it together.
Right.
It's not we're only going to go to the park and play outside and do the things that you want to do. We're going to do everything that life involves, and you can be involved.
Right.
And it was the funniest thing in the world. I cannot believe how excited she was to do it. But
Well, and too,
it's fun.
it probably helped a ton as well because it's like, I mean, if she's anything like Liam, like if he would have woke up and all his shit was moved, he would have throw a tantrum, and lost his
doubt.
crap.
Yeah.
And so then it's not a shock to her. So.
Yeah. Well, and she was
Good
like,
idea.
because some of the stuff is attached to the wall, like some of the heavier stuff.
Yeah.
Well, she was throwing a fit that we couldn't move some of the heavier stuff because it was attached to the wall. I was like, sweetheart, we can do that, but I gotta take it apart first,
Right.
and then attach it to the wall down here because we're not bringing the giant bookshelf thing
Right.
down here and then it fall on top of you because then I'm in trouble. So
For
we're not doing that.
For real. Oh, man.
That's good. I feel like that's really good advice. Like involving them in everyday stuff. I feel like I do that and don't even really notice it.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
when I feed the dogs or whatever, like I'll hold him while I'm doing it. I'm like, tell him like, hey, this is what we're doing, or
Yeah.
go out and check the mail. I'll let him try to open up the little mailbox thing. Or,
Attaboy. Nice.
Yeah, that's the key to it. It's like you just keep doing your normal stuff, and it's going to take longer with the little one there.
For sure.
But they're going to get used to you doing that stuff, and they're going to learn a ton from that too. So
Yeah.
keep doing it.
Well, that was most of how I learned to speak was because my mom dictated what she was doing with me for the first
Really?
year I was a kid. So well, now we're going to put on our socks, and we're putting our sock on our left foot, and then we're putting our sock on the right foot. And she would just talk at me, and Dad talks about it. He's like, yeah, she never stopped talking at you, and then you never stopped talking after that. So it's been allowed 36 years for me.
That's good. That's good.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I like that idea. Just involve them in what you're doing,
Yeah.
and also talk them through it because it'll help with the speech thing.
I feel like Alex does the talking for us.
Yes.
So, when it's my
Appreciate
turn,
that.
I'm usually just kind of quiet and let
Right.
him do whatever.
Right.
And
Let him figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Take him to the outdoors and listen to the birds.
Exactly.
Right.
We're going to
Same.
sit quietly and enjoy the silence for a minute. Okay, so we kind of hinted at this. Obviously, we had you on 8 months ago or so before Jasper was here. Now he's been here for 6 months. How's it going, bud?
Dude,
How's it going?
It's so much fun. It totally changes life in general. I mean, everyone says, "Oh, everything's going to change. Everything's going to change." Well, no one can really articulate like how it changes, right?
Well said.
Yeah, I
well
think
said.
like the biggest and craziest change has been the sleep, right? I mean,
Yep.
they're a good night. Like I will say, we've had a really good baby. He's been through the night for the most part, unless he's sick or something's going on. Since probably, I don't know, 2 months or so. So I mean, like it's been pretty good. But you get I'm not gonna wood. I was gonna jinx
knock on
myself
wood.
tonight. I
Don't
won't sleep at all. I promise.
Sorry, bud.
But I don't know. I feel like that's the biggest change, right?
Nice.
The sleep, and then just like what you want to spend your time like doing. It completely changes, or you'll reevaluate your whole life's choices. Like I'd rather be doing this, or
Sure.
Right.
rather be spending time here.
Well, everybody always talks about the adjustment from 0 to 1, right? Like that's the biggest adjustment. Have you caught yourself like either looking in the mirror or talking to Alex or something and saying like, what the hell did we do before we had kids?
Oh, all the time.
Because
much time did we
how
waste?
much free time did we have? Like how much thumb twiddling did we do?
And to be honest, like I'll never sleep like I did before again, ever.
No.
I mean,
Not with a kid in
it
the
doesn't
house.
matter if what's going on. You're not going to sleep as well because you're worried about something else.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you got that. I assume you guys have some kind of monitor or something. So you're just like listening to
Yeah.
whatever's in his room. Or
Luckily, the way our kind of bedrooms and stuff is set up is like our bedroom's here, and then the nursery's like right across the hall. So like I can from laying in bed, I can see the crib. So
That's helpful.
Yeah, but I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, I get it. your point is well made that whether the kid sleeps through the night or not, you're not going to sleep as well because you're constantly thinking about all the things that could be.
Yeah.
All
That was some of the
woulda, coulda
first
stuff.
advice that an older dad gave me whenever we found out that Allie's pregnant with Liam, and his kids were mid-20s. And he said that exact same thing what you said about, he's like, I've never slept near as good since I've had kids. And he's like, still to this day, I don't, because you're, even after they're adults,
Yeah.
like, not there yet.
Wonder what they're
but-
doing. Are they okay?
But,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
You're constantly worried about them. I'm like, that's funny.
Sure.
That, that won't happen. But sure enough, you get there and you're like, yep.
Stereotypical dad
Happened to
waking
me.
up at 5 a.m. kind of deal.
Yep.
Well, that's because you're worried about your kids.
Yep, right. Yeah.
Or
It's not
they
because
start
I
going off
enjoy
that time,
waking
too.
up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I really don't
Okay.
like this. I'm going to tell you that you guys should be up at this hour too because there's so many chores you could be getting done right now.
Right? For real. Mine and Allie's rule is kind of first, if she has to get up twice, then after that, it's my
You're
turn,
up.
basically. And then same thing. If I've got up twice with them after that, well, then it's
When it was brutal,
Allie's turn.
or like during that time where you're trying to get them to sleep, we did a like if like Alex would take till 2 o'clock, like
Yeah.
from put down till 2 o'clock, and then anything after 2 o'clock I took.
Yeah.
But
Oh, so you timed it. That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. Speaking of time,
and then you find
5 minutes when a kid is losing it in the middle of the night is the longest 5 minutes of your
Yeah,
life.
it's unbelievable. No joke.
I can't. I'm countless times I'd sit there hold him, and I'm just like, what do I do?
I've been here
Like,
for an hour.
I don't know what to do.
And then you
will
look down
stop.
at 7 minutes.
It's been 7 minutes. Like, what the hell? Just watch broken. Like, what's going on?
To be clear, I'm just going to cut this in somewhere at the beginning because this is too good of a conversation to not be involved. So-
Oh, yeah. Then you walk back to bed just pissed off.
yeah, well, and you're not going back to sleep
No.
too. Like
No,
you're
I joked about this on the podcast, but like I tried everything I could to like keep myself half asleep
Oh, yeah.
while rocking else. Like I would try to like hood my eyes and try to keep my eyes closed to like trick myself into going to sleep. Nothing ever worked. Nothing ever worked. All right, what topic were we actually going to get to? By the way, I'm still leaving this in.
Well, okay, cool. Yeah, go for it. So delivery room.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
was something that you were. I don't know if you were really worried about last time we spoke to you, but you were kind of curious on
Well, there's no experience, so how do you know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, how you were going to do during it. So, so how did you do, Skyler?
Not going to toot my own horn here, but I feel like I did great. I didn't have to do any of the hard work.
Go ahead and
but,
toot it, Brian.
right, for real. Like,
I mean, I had the
How was
easiest
that?
job in there, probably.
How was that recliner?
how was
Sucks.
your
sleeping
bed?
in the hospital sucks.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
the worst thing ever. But as far as I feel like I was there for her, I was just very
Good.
supportive. I mean, I watched the entire process. And
Were
I
you?
didn't
Okay,
get
good for you.
squeamish at all. I mean,
Yeah.
I was more just excited.
Yeah,
It-
sure.
I mean, the rush and like how you feel during that time.
Mm-hmm.
You've never been so, excited and proud and in love with my wife.
Yeah.
After that, you
Yeah,
know what I
right.
mean? It's just like you did this. You gave us this. Like this is it's pretty cool.
It's the coolest thing ever.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good for you. Was Jasper were you guys just there a little bit? No, like NICU or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
or-
we were pretty straightforward. In fact, Alex had sent me out to the truck to go get pillows.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that things were starting to develop, and she's like, "Go get some pillows." So I went and I got to the truck, and she called me, and she's like, "You better get up here! Like this is happening." And I was like, "Wait, what? Like you just sent me here?" Like, so I could race back up there, and we were like the nurses and stuff were starting to come in and out a lot more often. It's
getting serious.
Yeah, you can tell it's getting serious.
Everybody's face changes when it's game
Oh,
time.
yeah.
All the nurses go from, "Oh, it's so great," to, "All right, let's go."
And then one of the nurses, then everyone left, and it was just us and the one nurse or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was looking around. She's like, if we she was like, Alex was like, should I push? Should I push? And it was like, no. If you did that, you would deliver this baby right now. But they had to wait till the doctor comes in in order for them to start actively trying to do it. 'Cause
Sure.
she could have done it right there, but
Oh, wow.
it was pretty wild.
Was it a pretty short turnaround from when you guys got there to when Jasper arrived, or was it a pretty long labor, or how did that? What did that look like?
Yeah, so her water broke in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock. She called the doctor and said, "Hey," the doctor said, "Hey, you need to wait until the contractions are 5 minutes apart." That didn't happen until, the next morning we woke up and she still wasn't there. It was like 8 o'clock or before that, 7 o'clock probably. But I was like, I'm going to go into work for a little bit. And
dumbass.
Well, it was Monday or Tuesday, so I was like, I really need to go in real quick, and then. But yeah, it wasn't smart. And she called me at like 9:30. She's like, it's time for you to get here.
Go time.
But I got there and we got everything loaded up in the truck, and it was smooth, so it didn't happen without me. But
yeah, good.
What about, were you guys like in the hospital very long after Jasper?
I think we got there at like 10 or 11, and he was at 2 or so.
Yeah.
So
and then did you have to stay much longer after
no.
he was delivered?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty in and out.
Yeah. That was the worst part.
I think we stayed that night,
sure.
But we were out the next or 2 days later or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
So 2 nights maybe.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah, with Liam, we stayed I think 3 nights, and it was like nothing that was really serious.
Just let me go home.
It was just
Oh, I'm so glad it stayed though, because I couldn't I feel way more confident and comfortable now, but when that happens, I'm like, you guys can't send me home with this thing.
Right? Isn't that the funniest
This is my
feeling?
responsibility?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I have to keep this thing alive.
You go from having like 2 or 3 nurses that are like by your side
Yes.
nonstop to, all right, he's all yours.
Your problem now. Holy shit. Yeah, well,
That's a weird feeling.
When else he was in the NICU, we had like serious NICU nurses within arm's reach 24/7. And so if anything went wrong, even if she was just yelling, they would come running and would help us.
Yeah.
And then we go home and it's like, there's nobody else there but Liv and I, and Liv can't move really because she's recovering from a C-section.
Yeah.
No one to answer your questions.
It's like, what the hell? But I will say I learned more from those nurses, and I've said it 3 times on the podcast, and I'll say it every single time I get the opportunity to. I learned more from those NICU nurses on how to take care of a baby than I did in any class, in any book, in any video we watched, anything. I learned more stuff that I still don't use now that she's 3, but damn close.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what we learned from those nurses on how to actually just take care of a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of taking care of kids, what about, that was one thing that I think scared you a little bit, was the fragility. You never held a newborn before up until Jasper.
Yeah,
oh man,
right?
That is crazy to think about. Now I feel like feel way more confident now.
Right.
But even afterwards, I was still very nervous for quite a while.
Sure. Yeah.
Until he started getting some girth to him and getting a little meat on his bones, and you're like, okay, well, I won't actually break this thing.
Right.
Yeah,
but
sure.
it sure feels like it at the beginning.
Was he born little?
Yeah, 7 pounds, some ounces, 4 ounces, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but
crazy. But
Bigger than all my kids.
I was just curious more than anything else because I was born with a 10-pound steak. Elsie was 9.5 pounds. My poor wife.
Poor Liv.
Did you? Only because I asked you this very specific question when you were here last. I want to go back to it. Did you end up changing the meconium diaper, the black tar diaper, or was that something that happened at the hospital and you got some help or something? Did you get involved with that one?
I think one of them, I think there was 2, if I remember correctly, 2 that were around that consistency. One was at the hospital. The second one was at home. And I was right there.
Sure.
I felt like, especially after I was doing everything I could to try to help out or whatever, be right there. I didn't want to miss anything. I still kind of feel that same way. You don't want to, anytime he's awake or whatever, I'm awake, I'm right there, just trying to help or whatever.
Never felt more useless than
the
first couple weeks of being a dad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because these are useless nipples and
just for show.
yeah.
That's all.
My dumb useless nipples. I think that was a comment that my wife made to me at one point. Your stupid useless nipples, get away from me.
That's hilarious. I think Alex said the same exact thing.
I'm very sorry.
She's like, why do you even have those things? It's a good point. I really don't know, actually.
I apologize. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, Allie said the same thing to me too. But I don't know why. This is off topic, but it made me think of it too. She told me this this weekend as well too. She's like, and I've never said this to her, first of all, but she said, "Don't ever tell me to go grow a pair." 'Cause she's like, technically, I've grown 2 pair. So we have 2 boys.
And I
was just like,
that's a pretty good one.
I was
That's
that's pretty good. The useless nipples made me think of that.
Grow 2 pairs.
I was like, damn. I was like, that's better than me.
That's
Shit.
really funny.
Right? I was like, hey, okay.
You contributed. You
Right?
contributed.
I tried real hard. But I think that is kind of the funny thing. You were talking about how you didn't want to miss anything with being a dad there. I think it is funny because I was very similar to you, and I was like scared of a lot of the newborn fragility, all that. But how natural like fatherhood comes to you too.
Yeah.
And it's like I knew that was something like you were just going to be so good at because I saw how you were with my 2 boys before you ever had Jasper.
I appreciate that.
And you know how fun you had playing with them too. And I'm like, man, once Skyler becomes a dad, like he's gonna rock it and just love every second
I appreciate
of it.
that.
So,
And that means a lot to me.
so yeah,
From 2 great dads.
Well,
decent dads.
decent. Yeah, decent.
We haven't
dads.
got to that level yet.
So, speaking of pro dads, how's your swaddling? How's it going?
Yeah, I could probably use some work in that department.
Do you have the Velcro one or the
we
the
had
sheet one?
the Velcro one. We've moved up to like the kite sacks or whatever, where they just their arms are free. He pretty young. It was a flailer. He's still a flailer. Like, so we had to swaddle him for a while. I'd say in the past couple of months that we've kind of moved to the sack. It's so much easier.
Sure. Oh,
we had the Velcro one though. Whenever we were doing the swaddling,
That makes life so much easier.
I
So
didn't
much
like
easier.
the Velcro ones.
Oh, I love them.
I didn't like them because they're so damn noisy.
Yeah.
There is no way to take a kid out of a Velcro swaddle.
Why would you take
While
them
they're
out if they're not a?
Because they shat themselves and you can smell it. And I'm trying to keep her asleep,
fair.
and I change the diaper while she's asleep.
That's
but
fair.
ripping that nasty Velcro out of there. Yeah.
Ours like to have his hands near his face at all times. So even if you were to swaddle him, he would wiggle his arms to get up and end up.
Don't know
like
what
this
to
by
do
the
with my
night.
hands.
Well, that's the problem we had with the non-Velcro ones. Is he would do that?
Yeah.
himself out,
And then
always-
wake him up.
They'd loosen up, wake them up. Yeah. So so we're either zipper or Velcro, and it works good for
Sure.
us. But
So has the division of labor between you and Alex, like how is that split out? Like, are you the diaper guy? Is she the diaper person? Is it like, what's the division of baby labor look like? Not like delivering of a child.
No,
She's not here to defend herself.
Exactly. I want to hear your side of the story.
I feel like we split a lot of stuff.
Okay,
Like
good.
there's no like, hey, you do this. I will say she takes care of the bottle hand washing the bottles and stuff. But I do other things too to help out. I feel like
Nice.
I don't know. I feel like it's pretty 50-50. She might have others to say about other things to say
sure.
about that, but
I get it.
you know, who knows?
do you have any good diaper changing stories?
Oh man, yeah. He peed on his own face one time. That was pretty good.
Take that.
I look up and I was like, oh
Been
man,
peeing on me for weeks.
it's like, you got it on your own self, buddy. But, so that was pretty good. But I feel like, I mean, those things, it's hard to control.
It is.
Was it
isn't
like a full blown rainbow in the air?
Oh,
Hit
yeah.
himself in the face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We have like one of those silicone changing
Oh, yeah.
tip pads
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. And I mean, his head was laying in a puddle of it. And I was like, oh, sorry, bud. Like, better clean you off here.
That's perfect.
I don't even know if I told Alex that part.
Yeah,
It doesn't even
it does.
really change once they get older because that's what Liam just told me a couple weekends ago when he was in the backyard. He's like, Daddy, I gotta go pee. Can I go in the yard? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And so he's standing there and he's like, Dad, look how high I can make it go when I point it up. And like he's peeing, and I mean, I'm not kidding you. This is like an inch away from his nose, and I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? In his defense,
Pisses up his own nostril.
I mean, in his defense, he was literally peeing higher than he was tall. So it was pretty impressive. But I was just like, dude, if you hit yourself in the face, like,
Oh, your
I'm
experience
never gonna
is
let
so
you
different than
live that
mine.
down.
Your experience
Like,
is so different than mine.
It was so funny. It was so funny.
Do you feel like letting them go outside helped with the potty training?
I don't
interesting
know.
question.
I am divided on that now. Used to, I said absolutely yes. Liam was pretty easy potty training wise, and we did that a lot with him. Brody, if Brody's naked, he'll go pee outside. If he has a diaper or underwear on, he'll still pee in his diaper or underwear. And so it's like, I don't know. I think it
Relatively
depends on the
comfortable
kid,
Yeah.
right? But it is nice, when they just got to go pee and they just go in the yard. You don't have to take them inside or any of that stuff. So,
I'm just thinking about how different your
oh,
experience
dude,
is.
whenever he told me that, like, and he just said it just so naturally, casually. He's like, Dad, look at how high.
When I point it
And I'm
up.
like, oh my, yeah. When I pointed up, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
Whereas Elsie has, we had the little, obviously different plumbing, so we had the little seat that goes on the toilet, right?
Uh-huh,
Because instead of doing, we did the freestanding toilet thing for a while, but frankly, I found it so freaking gross that I was like, let's just put the thing on the toilet and put a step in front of the toilet, and she can just stand up on it and do that, or jump up on it. And that worked for a while, but then she didn't want to use it anymore. And so she just hangs her little butt all the way down in the toilet. And dude, it's the funniest thing in the world, because like there has been one or two instances where she goes to the bathroom by herself. Like I don't go in there with her all the time. Sometimes she'll say, "Hey Dad, you should come watch." It's like, I'm good, thanks. But there are some times where I'll hear her go, "Help!" And she's got herself like
just hands and feet sticking up.
She's got it hooked. The front of it, her little knees are hooked on the front, and her armpits are hooked on the side. It's just her whole butt is down in the toilet. Like, help.
What are you doing down there,
Elsa, did you fall in? Yeah. Can you help, please?
That's funny.
It's a different experience.
I haven't experienced that yet.
Now, she also will pee out of the front of the toilet when she's sitting on it. If you don't get her set far enough back on the thing, different experience there. Didn't know that was a problem. Again, not the plumbing I learned on, so I don't really know anything about that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, make sure whenever you get to that point with Jasper, tell him like, hey, you got to push your penis down towards pointing down when you're setting on the toilet, or else
he will just
or you're getting sprayed.
Oh no,
that's really
that happens too.
Yeah. That's funny.
What about? I know last time too you talked about some rules.
That
you were you were pretty adamant about. I guess you could say. One was
in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. One was like respect your mom, which you probably haven't really hit that point yet with Jasper.
No.
But the second one was screen time.
Screen time.
And how you was really gonna limit that. So how's that rule been working out for you?
I think I feel like we've done really well at limiting screen time. What has really been crazy to me is to see how drawn they are to them.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're not like really, like the other day Alex walked in the bedroom and we have like a 4-inch Alexa. Sure. And it's just cycling through news stories or whatever else in the front. He could not get his eye off that thing. Like just it was the strangest thing ever, because like it's not like we don't talk to that thing or like interact with it. It tells the time basically for us. And to see him like just be so drawn to it. And I mean, there's other instances, but I would say we haven't watched a ton of TV. But whenever the Bluey comes on, that the theme song for Bluey, man,
does he light up?
Oh yeah, starts throwing his arms and legs and kicking and punching.
So excited.
But then after the theme song is over, it's like okay, he didn't really care.
Because he doesn't speak the language yet.
Yeah, that's true.
That does make sense.
But great show to get him hooked on.
The best.
I think it's fun. It's
a
good show.
Like it's legit a really good show.
It's been Bluey and then football. That's about all he's watched.
Well, and I'm not going to advocate for more screen time, but if and when you guys get to that point where you want to do some of that, Bluey's great. I will advocate for Miss Rachel until the day I die.
I've tried to turn it on a few times just to see what he'll do, or try to, because I do feel like there's education in that. I mean,
100%.
Screen time, I don't know. I get kind of mixed feelings about it, right? Like everyone has to do it, like because you'll be behind.
Sure.
I feel like in this day and age.
Yeah.
But it's about managing it and monitoring it, and like what are we watching? What is? I mean, what are we consuming here?
Oh, for sure.
Hopefully knowledge, or I don't know, because like Bluey has a lot of good themes behind the actual story, even though they can't understand them, right?
Yeah,
but
it's good. We liked Miss Rachel just because it was a happy voice and an educational voice, and the only things we're talking about are learning things, and it was letters and numbers and emotions and smiling faces and sad faces and all the different things. It's like, okay, this is fine. But Elsie's still like, we sing some of the songs in the car even when Miss Rachel is not on TV. Yeah. And it's been probably 6 months since we've watched a Miss Rachel show. Yeah. It's just we sing Miss Rachel songs in the car, and it drives me nuts.
That's a fun thing too to these kids too, is music. Like the songs they get hooked on to. It's like, I don't know, because our boys got kind of hooked on like some little kid songs for a while, but now it's like it's grown up songs, country music or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Bragger.
that's how Brody is. He'll walk around
You're
just
still in the
Oh my God.
kid
just
music.
singing these songs, and it's like, dude, it's awesome. It's fun.
That's Elsie. Elsie will make up songs that are mostly just her trying to put her own words into nursery rhyme songs.
Yeah.
And it's all the super simple songs still. Like that's that, and we've been locked in on Wiggles
Okay, the Wiggles.
for a year and a half.
The
The Australian
the
like
family
kids show. Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right,
It's
okay.
like there's
Yep, I know
it's a
what you're
bunch
talking
of it's just a bunch of it.
That one
It
kinda
kind of
weirds
reminds me
me
of
out.
Barney, frankly. Like it
Yeah.
reminds me of Barney, except there's not a Barney. It's
Yeah.
just people singing at you and dancing and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all we listen to in the car. I've got 5 songs that Elsie will listen to that are like real music songs, and I've got a playlist on Spotify right now that's set up, and it just says Elsie's real music, and I try to turn it on every morning because she's like locked into a couple of those songs.
Yeah.
She'll listen to 2 of them and go, "Can I listen to Wiggles, please?"
Hey, DJ.
Yeah, truly. Well, and from the back seat you'll hear her go, "I want to hear Wiggles." I was like, "Try again. That's not the way we talk." Please? No, I don't know what please means. May I listen to Wiggles, please? I was really trying to delay the inevitable, but yes, I guess we can. That's fine.
Not gonna let that one go, Dad.
This isn't like this kind of going back to the Miss Rachel thing.
Yeah,
Have
sure.
you seen the girl on Instagram that like does Miss Rachel for adults? She's like she'll go and like make a drink, and she was like, "This is a margarita."
I haven't seen that, but that sounds funny.
Well, there's another gal.
I'll send it to you guys after.
There's another gal who does
hilarious.
like you've heard of gentle parenting, right? Where
Yeah.
it's gentle parenting, and then there's like a teacher gentle teaching kind of thing too. Well, it's a gal who does gentle parenting for like 2 other adults as like a. And it's all skit stuff. It's not legit, but like she'll be like the crazy political uncle at Thanksgiving, where she'll start talking at him in like, no, buddy, we don't use those kind of language. That's hurtful language. We're gonna stop doing that now. No, pal, we only use our inside voices when we're talking to our friends. No, friend, and it's just hilarious. It's pretty good. I got a pretty good giggle out of that.
Somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Just to see what they do, because we've been doing all that stuff.
Go
ahead.
I was gonna say, what about another thing you really wanted to, introduce Jasper to? You really talked about quite a bit last time. Was just experiences.
Oh,
Him.
yeah.
He's really wanted to do a bunch of things with him. So, have you been able to do anything with Jasper yet? I know, like you took him to a Cardinals game. I think when he was
We've
month
been to a
old.
couple of Cardinals games
Yeah.
now. I gotta
Nice.
get him, in the baseball early.
Heck yeah, man.
We did a lot. We just done a lot of outside time. We're going to Colorado in this month.
Sweet.
We got one of those like it's like one of the backpacking backpacks that you just they sit in or whatever, and you can take them around. So we've been walking around the neighborhood in that in preparation
Training.
for But like today, we think we spent an hour in that thing, and he did
Sweet.
fine. I had to like stop afterwards, and I was felt him not moving, and I was like, "Is he okay back there?" He was
Out. Perfect.
asleep, and I was like, dude, that can't be comfortable for one.
dude. Yeah.
And
Whatever works.
I got to get you home because that hurts. That
Yeah.
looks like it hurts
Yeah,
me
that
looking at
looks
you like
painful.
that.
Good for you, though. That's great. So, what are you guys going to do? Just do some hiking stuff? Or
Yeah, I
what's the
think we're
plan?
gonna go to Aspen for a few days and spend time there and just hike and it's a cool. It's obviously fall the Aspens will all be yellow.
Sure.
So it'll be peak season. It'll be beautiful. Do a lot of hiking. Then we're gonna go down to Denver and do all the, the Denver things.
Sure.
All the just outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
spend a lot of time.
You said something that stood out to me, talking about the outdoors and talking about also, I know that you guys are a big dog family too. How did you guys introduce the dogs to Jasper? How has Jasper done around the dogs? How have the dogs done around Jasper? Talk about that process, because I know they were, obviously a big part of y'all's life too.
Yeah, I was, I think, really nervous for that portion because I didn't know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
But to be honest, I just acted like it was not a big deal at all. Like we didn't do a big introduction. I mean, we brought him in. I did the bring in something, let them sniff it, so they can get over the excitement. We took them for walks before we brought them, so they were all tired. We probably tried to make a good environment for them.
Good thought.
And
Good idea.
then just treat it like it's not a big deal, and then force the dogs to give the baby space. Because they don't need to come up and sniff or put their nose on them and sniff them. I mean,
Lick 'em, yeah.
they do sneak a lick here and there
Sure.
now.
It's inevitable.
But it's they're good, gentle touches. And beforehand, we were like, this is our, this is a new life for all of us, and they have to conform to this too. And it's been probably not as easy for them. I mean, you have a bunch of energy, weird energy that you didn't have beforehand. And, seeing them, they've been really good though, to be honest, but seeing them kind of start to take to him a little bit more now that he is a little older and can reach out and grab for them and they grab their fur and stuff has been fun.
Love it.
They probably get a lot more playtime than they did beforehand because we'll go outside and I'll, hold Jasper and throw the Frisbee for the dogs or chase them around with them or, so they're getting interaction.
Sweet.
So.
I love that.
Nice.
So will you guys do like the big family walk where it's like you guys and the dogs and Jasper and just like the whole crew out on rolling around the neighborhood or any of that kind of stuff?
The 3 dogs make it tough.
Well, sure. That's why I wondered because it's like we're rolling deep if we're doing that.
It's a little much for my liking.
Yeah.
Could
totally
it happen? For sure. I don't think we've been hiking since we've had him. But
so that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, because we'll just when we do that, we'll take the dogs and we'll just let them off leash unless there's more people around. If if there's a lot of people around, we'll obviously leash them up. But we do it one at a time on the dogs.
I don't blame you.
It gets us all outside for longer and allows them a little bit of individualized time.
Good.
So it's worked out for us.
We did that with Elsie once, where like both dogs were not great on leashes. Like they were backyard dogs. Like that's what we did. We would chase each other around the backyard, but we were not big like we're going on a walk.
Yeah.
Family. And then Elsie got here and we're like, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get the stroller, we're gonna get dogs on the leads. And Faye was big enough that like she would jerk Liv around. And so I was like, okay, I definitely have to take the dogs. And so I'm sitting here just wrenching both dogs. And I'm trying to, because I did some like training with Faye. And Faye was pretty good on the leash. Tina, not so much. And so it was like Liv's trying to keep up with us because Tina's just jetting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, oh no. And I thought, I was also like, maybe we should just tie the dogs to the front of the cart. And then maybe they can just pull Elsie like Santa pulling like Santa's sleigh until they take off and run into the road. And okay, this is a shit idea. Let's not do that.
Her chariot.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I was thinking, right? Like, I'll ride the back of it, put Elsie in the front, and we'll just ride this thing like a chariot. All right, Derek, should we get to everybody's favorite part of the podcast? Or I actually should say, is this just our favorite part of the podcast and everybody else is just kind of like, man, it's whatever.
Yeah, basically. And the good thing this time around, Skyler knows.
Exactly.
Favorite part
Skyler knows it's Dad Joke of the Week.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Skyler was talking about how great his joke was during the break. So
big pressure here.
Full disclosure, he does not like his joke, but we're going to make him tell it first anyway.
Yeah, let's go.
What do you got, bro?
Okay, so it's fall. I was watching UFC fights last night.
Nice.
So why wouldn't the skeletons fight each other?
Ooh, okay. Spooky season 2. Nice.
I know. Very themed of you.
I got nothing.
Because they didn't have any guts.
That's a good one. Don't get mad at yourself over that. That's solid.
Plus
I like
bonus,
that a lot.
bonus points for the theme.
Yeah, for sure. That's good.
Yeah.
So this is not really a dad joke, but I heard Mike Birbiglia telling a joke the other day who's a comedian, telling a joke about parenting the other day that I really liked. He said, I feel like parenting is a little bit like hiking. No one's ever really like, great job hiking. They're just like, keep hiking. I thought that was perfect, and it so adequately described everything about parenting for me. It's like, hey, nobody's saying, hey, great job parenting.
You're
They're
almost
just saying,
there.
keep doing it forever. I just really like that one.
That's so true. Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, to redeem myself from last time, what is the difference between Iron Man and Aluminum Man?
Something about tin, T-I-N.
No.
Nope. Okay.
Nope. Iron Man defeats the bad guys. Aluminum Man just foils their plans.
Hey, that's good. That's pretty solid. Also, Halloween costumes are coming up. I like it. Yeah, nice work. Take it away, DC. Let's wrap this thing up.
All right. Well, to wrap it up, we got to end on the Decent Dad's motto, keeping the bar within reach. All right. So, in all seriousness, we're here to build a community of dads, share stories, share dad hacks, dad advice, which Skyler did an awesome job of today. So if you have some good dad stories you want to share with us, or good dad hacks, dad advice, or some dad jokes,
please,
we always need those.
We need them.
Feel free to share them with us. Our podcast can be found on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We release episodes every 2 weeks, so be sure and check them out. Like, share, and subscribe.
All the social media stuff. You've already heard this once, so you're already a part of the club, but way to go, decent dad.
Yeah, I appreciate it, boys. Thanks for having me back on. This has been awesome.
Good.
I love you, boys, and thanks
appreciate
for
you
letting
doing
me
this, man.
be a decent dad with you guys.
Yeah, frankly, you're like, kind of sounds to me like you're already outside of decent and are
Right.
well on your way to being good.
Elevating his level.
Hey, we need to take some lessons from you. Right. So anything else for the good of the room?
I got nothing.
Anything at all? All right, Bueller. Well, in that case, we'll say we'll see you next time. Thanks, Derek.
First cut.
Nice. We're pros, let me tell you.